What is up, YouTube? I'm Chalktopus, and we are here to talk more about how to build a balanced team and team building 101 in Pokemon Duel. And we're going to kind of break down the meta a little bit and explain what types of Pokemon there are in Pokemon Duel. And I'm not talking about literal types like Fire and Ghost. And what are the types of Pokemon that you can have on your team, how to build a balanced team, and just overall, you want to win more games. So what are some strategies that we can use to start winning more games and how to use these Pokemon most effectively? Throughout this video, I'm going to be referencing a tier list, credit to Totodile on the Pokemon Duel subreddit, who put this very, very long and very intricate tier list together, but I'm going to be referencing it, so I'll leave it in the description below, so feel free to check it, and you could read more about each Pokemon and what they do. But there are 4 types of Pokemon, according to this this guide, that you could have on your team, and the first are runners. Now, what are runners? Runners are Pokemon figures that have 3 move points, and they're able to really move around the map quick. They can move, there's a huge difference between being able to move 2 points and 3 points, because when you move 3 points, you could really rush and you can create pressure, and your runner Pokemon are going to be used to set up either surrounding kills, because they're usually weaker Pokemon that don't have strong attack, they don't have strong defense. However, they can get around the board pretty quick. Some of them might be able to hop over Pokemon, or they might be able to, like Genesect has Hover Jet, and Genesect can kind of jump around the board a little bit. So they're mainly for being able to block opponents' entry points, and they are for setting up surround kills. So if you have one Pokemon of yours next to one of their Pokemon, and you can knock him out by surrounding him, you might be able to get a Shuppet and kind of hop over a Pokemon and get to that spot. So some really good runners to have on your team. Shuppet is by far the best, because Shuppet can hop over other Pokemon. It costs a space, but you can hop over a Pokemon, and I can't tell you how many games I've won in the past 2 days just playing with Shuppet and just being a troll. I have 2 Shuppets in my deck right now, and just being an absolute troll and just hopping over a Pokemon to win the game, it's stupid, and people don't realize that you can do it. Some other good ones are Latios and Latias, but you got to be careful because they could be knocked out of the game if they're killed. Greninja's a good one. You have Ghastly. Like I said, Genesect is a really good one, and they don't have to be EX level Pokemon. They don't have to be rares. If you could get a Shuppet in your team to kind of get on the board and create pressure, early in the game, then you have a better chance of blocking off one of their entry points, and then they're very limited to where they can drop their Pokemon from. Next up, you have your fighters. These Pokemon are usually ones that have 2 move points, and they're more reliable. These are Pokemon that you trust going into a battle if you're going to be engaging a fight, and they're Pokemon that you will be relying on most to win fights for you. So you wouldn't send a Shuppet into a fight expecting to win, because Shuppet has, I think, a move with only 10 attack points, so it's very weak. Like I said, Shuppet's more of a runner, but your fighters are like Moltres, Zapdos, Lucario, bigger, heavier hitters that you're going to rely on to win fights. Lugia, just to name a couple, and if you need more, you can check out the tier list. Like I said, it's in the description below, but these are Pokemon that you're relying on to be able to take out some of their other Pokemon, so you could send in those runners and kind of move in there. It's very important to know when to pick fights in Pokemon Duel if you want to win. If you feel like you can attack a Pokemon, but you may not win the battle, it's not a good idea to fight. What you want to try and do is you want to try and draw the fight, because then it'll take up part of their turn. Because once you attack, your turn's over. So you want to try and draw the opponent's Pokemon to you to attack, especially if you know that you have a strong fighter. Like my Lugia wins about 90% of the battles that he's in, because he just hurricanes people right off the field. Just easy, because it's it's a strong attack. It's a purple attack. And fighters mostly have strong either white or yellow attacks. Hurricane's more of a utility, but it basically wins anything against, it's up against. It has 3 stars, just blows Pokemon off the field. Lugia is so OP, and I'm trying to get another one on my team. I would like to have 2. That's ideal, but there's some wishful thinking there. Next up, you have your defenders. These are your tanks, ones that you're going to usually keep on your side of the board to defend your home spot. Now, you don't want anyone getting to that goal, and that's why before I was playing around with Shuppets, I had 2 Giratinas on my team, because my Giratinas are tanks. They do deal 110 attack damage, and I usually use both of them to either sit on or surround my goal, because your defender Pokemon are only, they're ones that have only 1 move point usually. They're not very fast. They can't get around the board that quick, so usually they'll come on last for me. I'll put the defender Pokemon on last, or if you have a goal plate, a goal block plate, you can throw one right onto your goal. So some other good ones are Snorlax, you have Metagross, you have Chestnut, Articuno is even a good one. Articuno might be probably one of the best defenders. So the legendary birds they're good and they're pretty balanced. These are also Pokemon that you want to use to stall the game if you have to, because they don't deal a lot of damage, but they are built to be able to withstand damage, or they're built to be able to withstand utility attacks. This way, they're not getting knocked off the field so easily. Last up, you have your utility Pokemon, and these are more of support Pokemon. Ones that you wouldn't necessarily use to fight. I mean, you can with some of them, like my Ho-Oh is a utility Pokemon, but I use my Ho-Oh to win a lot of battles. However, these are Pokemon that you're going to use to increase movement or damage, or they're going to be supporting another one of your Pokemon figures along the way. Like Gardevoir is a great counter to runner Pokemon, specifically Ghost Runners, because it has Warpole. And Warpole, you can knock Pokemon back 2 spaces, so you're kind of preventing them from being able to run past you and really create that pressure. Xerneas is another good one. Xerneas, if you're adjacent to your Xerneas figure, you gain an extra move point. So kind of moving Xerneas in unison with another Pokemon, maybe a runner or one of your fighters, you can actually get another movement point out of it. So very useful. If you have a Xerneas, make sure you put it in with those fighters and move them together. Now, while there's no real meta to Pokemon Duel as of yet, the game's only been out a couple weeks, so you could really have fun experimenting with some of these Pokemon types and how they fit into your deck and which Pokemon complement each other. So be sure you check out some of the always read the Pokemon moves, especially their passives. Like Ho-Oh is Serene Light, so it's a great Pokemon to get knocked off the field because it'll just come right back in. But be sure to read, see which Pokemon complement each other, and if I'm kind of working with right now, I have a couple fighters. I usually have like 2 fighters. Maybe I'll do a runner, I'll do 2 tanks, and a support Pokemon. That's something that I like to work with for now. I'm going to be changing up this deck, so I'm probably going to have Lugia, Ho-Oh. I'm going to bring my Giratina back in, only keep 1 Shuppet, and then I'm going to have my Moltres, and I'm going to have my Delphox in there. So like I said, there's no real meta to the game yet, but mix it up. Try not to have all fighters, because then you'll just get outrun by a bunch of Shuppets because they could hop right over you. You want a good balance of Pokemon, so mix it up. Check out the tier list. Try different things. Let me know in the comments below, what's your Pokemon deck that you're running right now? What's working for you? Are you winning some games? Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel for more Pokemon Duel videos. So we got a lot more coming at you this week. Don't miss them, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.